Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, welcome back on this Saturday, November the 3rd, talking outdoors on Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN. Hello to you folks, not only in our flagship station here in Memphis on ESPN 790, but all our good folks in Brownsville and Jackson, Tennessee, all over West Tennessee, listening to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And always one of my favorite shows when you get to the 1st of November, and we have had a crazy time. We've been in Minnesota. We've been in Texas. We've been in Laconia, Tennessee, and
we're across the river to
Rogers, Arkansas. And let's talk a little BASS on Outdoors with Larry Ray with Dave Gabbert and Bill Cooksey in studio, and Shelby McCall keeping everything straight, which has been impossible this morning. This may go down as one we have to edit twice. You know,
well,
I didn't know to get
Cooksey
and Gabbert together was creating.
We're still on the sugar high from the.
Yes,
Halloween
we are.
the other night, you know.
That's right. But, hey, let's talk BASS, and particularly the BASS Nation Championship coming up November the 8th through 10th on Pickwick Lake. And who better to talk about that than Jon Stewart? He is the director of BASS Nation. And, John, it is a big nation, right?
It absolutely is. Absolutely. Well, world, really, it's really an amateur world.
It is.
championship.
It is. And you've been with the organization, as you told me, 14 years. Let's talk a little bit before we talk about the big tournament coming up next weekend about the changes in the bass world. You've looked at this, and I've looked at this. We're in a time frame where change is coming in 2019. And you guys have jumped on it very, very sharply with not only the Elite Series and the number of participants in the Elite Series, but it goes right on down the chute to the kids and to the collegians and the Bass Nation. So talk about the changes you've seen in your 14 years at Bass.
Oh man, there have been a bunch of changes since I've been here. You know, I was, and before I even came here, I was a president of the Kansas Bass Nation. So,
okay,
you know, I've been involved in the nation or the Bass Federation back in the day. You know, since I was 20 years old. So I've been through a bunch. I've been through the ESPN from the Ray Scott days to the Helen Sevier days to the ESPN days, and I've seen a lot of things come and go, and we just continue to roll with the punches and do what we do and just come out better for it. And that's kind of the attitude that we all have here. And,
you know, excitement seems to me like when we have talked to Dave Preck and some of the guys down there is in the air for 2019 with all the things. And I don't think people realize, and you talked about this, the BASS Nation, 47 states, 9 countries, and the province of Ontario. That's and so when we line up next weekend on Pickwick Lake, and that is the area of Pickwick Lake, Florence, one of my favorite places to go. It's going to be 125 anglers, and all of them, they could be from everywhere, right? I mean,
that's correct. It's actually 126 anglers because we have 2 special people this year. Every year we have the PVA champion join us as well, and they compete in the tournament just like any of the other competitors for that classic berth. So we have the PVA angler, and then probably the first time, I don't even know if I've announced this anywhere, so this is breaking news. We're having our first French angler take part in this tournament. So we have a brand new Bass Nation, France, and this is the first tournament they're going to be joining us.
Wow. Okay. Well, if they get in a boat with somebody from Laconia, Tennessee, be sure and tell them.
Hey, you know, it's cool timing though on Pickwick because you know while there aren't a lot of techniques that'll win, there lot of fish to be caught on a whole lot of different techniques. These guys coming from other places will at least weigh fish if they're challenged on the water. They'll find some fish. I think it'll be fun.
Don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Don't you agree on that, John? Because Pickwick has been good to the BASS, right?
That's right. Pickwick it's a great fishery. As you said, we got guys from all over the world and Canada and a lot of smallmouth fishermen that's their forte, and they can catch smallmouth on Pickwick, and then you got the southern guys that love the largemouth, and that's going to be just as many of them weighed in. I think it's going to take a little bit of both, I would predict, and we're going to see which one of the two groups adapts the best and comes out on top.
Well, how about that? And I forgot about this. That 8-pound, 3-ounce smallmouth caught earlier this year by Bassmaster Open Angler Sam George. Wow, 8-pound, 3 ounces.
That's
amazing.
That is amazing. And again, we talked to Jon Stewart, director of the BASS Nation. And when I look at this thing, I know the Florence area has been good to you. It's a great place to go. But in the end, for these fisher people, there is a chance to make the Classic, which I'm excited about March 15th through 17th in Knoxville.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Absolutely.
Is that not a cool place to hold the Classic? I mean, there will be UT hats everywhere over there. The flotilla will arrive,
Yes,
so talk about that and the chance to win a berth in the Classic.
Yeah, I mean it's the culmination for an amateur angler to make it to the Classic, and we'll award 3 berths. It's not just one.
Not just one, but 3. Yeah.
The top 3 anglers from this event, and whether you're a boater or non-boater, that's another thing that we really want to get out there is if you don't have to own a boat to make it to the Bassmaster Classic through the Bass Nation. And Ryan Levine a couple of years ago proved that.
Yeah.
He entered and made his state team as a non-boater and made it fish through the regional as a non-boater and fished the national championship as a non-boater.
That's amazing.
Won the non-boater side, and then that gets you in the cut to finish the fish on the final day of the championship. And if you make it in that top 3, you're moving on to the Classic, and he did just that. He won both sides. So that's amazing, and we like to say that we try to make people's dreams come true, and certainly fishing the Bassmaster Classic is a dream every amateur angler wants.
I think you're in the memory-making business. You guys have already, which kind of surprised me, just this Thursday announced where next year's BASS Nation tournament will be on Lake Hartwell, and you've already announced the schedules, and you don't normally tell people where you're going for the championship. It reminds me of back in the late 60s when Henry Reynolds would get on that plane to go to the Classic, and they didn't know where they were going.
Mm-hmm.
They kept it a secret till they got in the plane. Race didn't even tell them.
Lake Mead.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's right, Lake Mead. So talk about next year's schedule and why you went ahead and announced this place that you're going to Lake Hartwell.
Yeah, I mean it's not unprecedented that we announce. It's merely a matter of whether or not I get the deal done in time to announce with the other regionals, and we actually did this year. We got it done, and we love going to Hartwell and visit Anderson and Neil Paul and that group over there. They just treat us so good, and we had the championship there last year, and they wanted us back, and so we signed another deal with them, and it's going to be a great year, going to Guntersville and Lake Shasta and up in Maine is going to be
Let me talk about Maine. You're going to Maine. I mean, there's some guys with no boats from Australia, and they're going to Maine. I mean, I think of lobsters and things like that.
Right.
I mean, going to Maine, that just kind of blew my mind, and that'll be in September. Can you imagine what it's going to be like in Maine in September?
Beautiful.
We actually went there a couple of years ago, or I guess it was probably more than a couple years ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
But it was 2014 or maybe 13 that we had a divisional up there before we combined the regions. So it was a little smaller tournament, but we had 8 or so states there. And it was in September, and it was just phenomenal. Beautiful, the leaves are changing, the weather's cooling down.
Yeah, man.
The smallmouth are eating, good for the winter, and it's going to be a great tournament.
Well, John, we appreciate you joining us today on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Tell everybody hello. Look forward to seeing on Pickwick. I don't know what to guess on what the weight will take right there, but I guarantee that some big fish are going to be caught.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be good. I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, buddy. Tell everybody hello, and we'll talk again, okay?
We'll do it.
Thank you, Jon. Jon Stewart.
Thank you.
With the BSS Nation. That's a big nation, too. Let me talk about next week's show. We're going to have David Banyard.
Tell us about next week's show, Larry.
All right, right now.
Okay.
David Banyard, our good friend with Driftmaster, is going to be on us talking about the Lou Long Line Trolling System. And I like that. And, of course, the guy with the longest last name that's ever been on Larry Ray's show is Dan Dannenmuller. I love Dan. I love his last name. He's actually Dan, if you really look at that. But he's going to talk the good friend, the Stallings family, as we all know, the late TJ, and this is his brother Ron, talk about new products. We're going to talk clean shot. Now's the time to keep that gun and that firearm clean. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to talk with a clean shot guy, pro bass angler Jared Littner, who recently won a berth in the 2019 Classic himself. And, of course, we couldn't go very far without talking to Stacy Walker from Prime One Camo, who is in less than 3 years has stormed the camo market with that Prime One Camo. So thank y'all for being here. Bill, appreciate you
enjoyed it.
Filling in with us and everything. And we'll talk to you later in the month. And then Dave, all the way from Lexington, Tennessee, his eyes are a little blurry now. He's been
the caffeine's starting to wear down, but we'll get some more here in a second.
We'll eat again. We do eat, but thank you, Dave. And Shelby, thank you. Appreciate everybody. This is Larry Ray reminding you it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And
God bless the USA.